Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I felt very like Obi-Wan Kenobi there, like, hello there.
Next, you'll get that chokehold down and you'll be all set.
I know if I could like learn the Force, I could just force choke random people. I'd be set. I'd be set for life. I'd
Random
never have to do
evil
anything else.
spirits. No, we
uh,
took
we,
we took care of your one most troublesome spirit. We're good there now, I think.
we did. He even apologized.
He did.
He
It's
did. So I know. Look at that. Like I like to say it when I'm at work. Rehabilitation at its finest. Oh my god, we got a lot of stuff to talk about today.
we
Like
do have a lot to talk about today.
all kinds of stuff. It's got to be kind of like all over the place because we've got stuff with our merch line that we got to talk about and kind of discuss with people. We've got a big announcement, something we haven't done before that we're going to be talking about. People might know in the title because they read it. Who knows? But we'll get to that in a second. And then your experience that you just had at Whispers Estate, we got to talk about that too. Unfortunately, I wasn't there for that because of stupid work. So but yeah, I'm excited to hear more in depth about what you experienced there. But where do you want to start? Because again, we have a lot that we have to cover today.
Let's start with the merch line. I think I'm most excited about that.
It's exciting, dude. Like, oh my,
It is
as,
exciting.
I mean, as everybody can see, I'm rocking the merch right now because it's freaking cool, and I don't care what anybody says. It is cool.
It is.
Especially because like it's been a long time coming. We've been working on the merch. We've been teasing the merch forever, and a lot of reasons I think go into that. I mean, fourth and foremost, I mean, just because we were trying to figure out our brand, because obviously even in the intro, we actually got to update the intro too because the intro has our old like logo on there, so we got to update that as well. But yeah, we had a logo, and I liked the logo, but I felt like there was something missing. You know what I mean? And it wasn't until recently, actually, when we went on our little retreat to the cabin where we kind of like settled on what the logo is today. And oh my god, I love it. I just love it. Everything about it. Love everything about it. But there's a lot of things that went into that. Then there was the whole process of, well, in case anybody isn't aware of like whatever you're trying to start any type of business and anything, it is complicated as hell. Like I think there's still things that we're still trying to figure out and kind of get together, but we have it to the point where like, all right, we can put the merch store online at least, so that way all of you guys watching can start getting your hands on those because again, I just think it's awesome. But then there was a whole process where like I had to figure out what shirt I liked because I'm kind of picky. I want a certain feel of my shirt. It's got to be like a little stretchy. It's got to be soft. Like I'm real picky when it comes to like my clothing. So I sat there and probably tested like all kinds of different shirts, and then hats were the same way, and I wanted to get it absolutely perfect so that way I was confident in what it was we were going to be selling to people. And I really like it. And I know you've just got the tank top. I do have your other items still for when I give them to you next week, so you'll get to like try those out. But like, how do you like the tank top? I think like it's probably pretty cool.
Oh, I love it. It's comfortable. I like the fit of it. The
Hmm.
design looks great.
Oh, the design looks amazing.
I have nothing bad to say.
Hmm. There was also too, like I think the thought process that went through my head, and you know this better than anybody does because you know about, I'm gonna say 90 to 95% of the other things that are coming to the merch line later down the road. Um, but when I was originally thinking of like what are we gonna do for our merch line, I didn't really just want it to be like, oh, we just slap our original logo on a shirt and a hat and a hoodie and then just call it a day. You know what I mean? I just felt like, don't get me wrong, it's cool and it's great. I love the logo. I'm always gonna wear the logo, but I think I wanted something a little bit more. I wanted something that I could really create almost a crooked universe based off of our brand, because I don't know, I just love it. Crooked Path Paranormal, and now Crooked Apparel. I love it. I just love it. And again, not to necessarily give anything away of what's coming in the future, but as anybody that's checked out the merch already, is that not only do we have the designs of like our logo and stuff on a hat and t-shirt, but we also have cool designs that we created. One is the "Can You Hear Them" shirt with kind of like a skull EVP running through the mouth with the phrase on there. I love that design. There is the "To the Morgue." That obviously, as you
Of
know,
course.
yeah, it has to be there. And I wasn't even there for that night, like when that whole thing happened, but it kind of just created a life of its own.
It did.
And
Yes, it did.
yeah, like, and we have how many people now like talk to us about like the "To the Morgue" stuff, and that was definitely
Not
the
all of those people were here that night either.
yeah. Why don't you just take a second and kind of explain that whole thing, because you were there for that entire thing.
It was one of my probably the last psychic hunt of the year, I think. The psychic public hunt of the year at FCI. I always start the night with a tour. We were on the first floor. We were coming out of the monkey room. Our next stop was going to be the morgue. And just out of nowhere, I very randomly got super excited. And before taking everybody across the hall, I threw my fist in the air and yelled, "To the morgue!"
And then it just kind of like took a life of its own.
People were saying it all night. People were commenting it on things. Well, the first time I saw someone comment it that wasn't even there, I was like, what the hell?
Right. That's what got me, because like obviously I heard that I wasn't there that night, unfortunately, but I heard about it, and because you told me about the entire thing. And so I kind of got in on the joke, because then when I was there with you at your office, I took a picture with the "To the Morgue," and it just like people like me that weren't there were catching on to it, and instantly we knew like we've got to do something for this. Like, we've got to make a specific "To the Morgue" shirt. And then if you go back and look at old past videos, I did make a shirt that obviously isn't the one that it is now. That was just the lettering. And again, like at the time, I was like, "Oh, that's cool. I like that." But again, it just wasn't enough. So that was where, you know, we went back to the thinking tank of like, well, how do we create something that's really going to emphasize and really emphasize this "To the Morgue" stuff. So that was where the first design that was created, other than the Crooked Path Paranormal logo, was the "To the Morgue" design. And once we had that, it kind of just, I think I spent the next like several hours making like designs to like put on t-shirts. Some of them that we approved and are now, you'll see them, or you'll see them in later renditions of things that we release. And then some of them just kind of I didn't really like them all that much, so they ended up getting deleted and stuff like that. But even just from the ones that are there, like we've got a long sleeve t-shirt that I've nicknamed Spirits Rising. We have I haven't gotten it yet, but it's being delivered to me soon. One of my favorite ones, other than the "Can You Hear Them" design, is EVP Session 13. I don't know why. I really like that shirt. I think it's cool as hell. So I'm really excited for it to come out there. But along with the line that is out right now with Crooked Apparel, again, not to give out too much information, while there are going to be some updates here very, very soon. Um, we have a whole like different set of lines coming out with different colors. Like, just to put it in perspective, because like right now there's two colors that you can get. There is like the neon green shirts and stuff like that, and then obviously red is kind of implicated with the special edition Battle of Souls shirt and hat set. But while there could be very possibly some other designs coming out in the color red that kind of go with the Battle of Souls set and stuff like that. There's other colors that I think are going to be put out there very soon with their own sort of how do I say this? It's a
Subcategories.
yeah, it's like its own theme almost. Like it's all connected to Crooked Path Paranormal, and it's all a part of the Crooked Apparel um, design and line, but it's its own theme. It might it might take a different form of different types of paranormal activity, if that makes sense.
People will just have to check it out for themselves.
Yeah, I don't want to give too much away because especially with the first one we're going to drop, not only is it necessarily a different color scheme and a different theme to like if you look at Crooked Path Paranormal, if there's one thing that we have pretty much been since day one is like we don't really stick to one particular type of the paranormal. We kind of do literally every aspect of the paranormal, and I was like, I think we need something that's going to really bring that to life because we deal with technical equipment, obviously witchcraft, stuff like that, like, and it all kind of blends together in the way that we do it. So that's where I was like, well, what if we take each of these ideas and come up with its own subcategory and line with its own nickname and stuff like that. So the first one that we're going to put out there, not only is it going to be a different color scheme and its own, its own theme with Crooked Apparel, but it also might bring new stuff. Like again, I don't want to put too much out there, but there might be sub things on Facebook that you might be able to follow that, and people will understand when it's out and we start advertising it a little bit more heavily what we mean by this. But like, there's going to be things maybe you can follow or you can read or things like that. They're going to come with the line. So it's not just going to be like it's not necessarily going to be just the t-shirt design. It's going to be an entire line in a universe under the Crooked Path name.
Universe. I like that. I like that a
I
lot.
Yeah, it's the crooked universe is what is what I'm going towards. Hey, that's got a good ring to it. That's got the
It
crooked
does.
universe. That's what I'm going
It does.
towards. It's almost like I'm Thanos and I'm collecting the Infinity Stones. So like whenever we do, it's like you've got to be just like Thanos and collect the different pieces of the line to collect all Infinity Stones. So you can be a lord of the crooked universe. I get weird. I'm a nerd. It's okay. We can call it out. We can call it out. I'm a nerd. We get it. um, I guess too, we should probably take a second to possibly answer any of the questions that people might have currently about the merch line, if they have seen it or they haven't seen it. And I think the number one thing that I would, and if you think of anything that people might wonder about, please ask. And obviously, between the two of us, we should be able to answer that because we've both been dealing with this for how long at this point. Like, if I don't know the answer, you will, and if you don't know the answer, I
Right.
probably should. Um, but I think the number one thing that people might ask is like, hey, well, first of all, they might just ask, how does it work if they haven't seen the link or anything about it. So what's really cool about Crooked Apparel is the fact that, and we're going to put this on all of our social medias. We'll put the link in every YouTube video. So if there's ever a point that anybody sees like our merch on one of the channels, like you can right now, we'll put the link to the store in the description. So if you see a piece of Crooked Apparel that you're like, oh man, I really love that, I need that, whatever it is, you'll be able to click that link and go straight to the store. You can also find it on like our Facebook page. It's put under our links. You'll see it, Crooked Apparel. It's right there. All you got to do is click the link. It'll take you straight to our Shopify store, and just follow the prompt. I mean, if you go to our what's it called? Uh, what's it called? The no, catalog, that's what it is. If you go to our catalog, I couldn't think of the word catalog for some unknown reason. I'm just having like a brain melt like moment. But if you go to our catalog in our online store, that's where you'll see all of the different clothing items that we do currently offer. And like I said before, we will be updating new things, and you'll see them there. But that's where you go, select what you want, and then you'll be able to select what color of the shirt or hat, hoodie, whatever it is that you're wanting to order. You'll actually get to pick what color you want based off of the options we have. Sizes, it gives you the size chart on that. So if you're not quite sure, like, well, how big is an extra large, large, whatever it is that you're ordering, um, it'll actually tell you the specific size chart of like what you're ordering, so that way there's no confusion on if it's going to fit correctly. Which I like that. I thought that was a good idea that we put in there, because I know me, like I like to know if I'm not 100% sure. Like, I don't want to order something and then it be too small or too big. I want it to fit just right. So that's where God, I sound like Goldilocks right there. Not too small, not too big. But yeah, just right. But yeah, I like to be that way, and so I figured we'll put the size chart in there so there's no confusion on that end. But as you kind of follow as you would order online, just like anything else, you put your address in there, everything like that, and it'll ship directly to your door. Like, there's no huss, there's no fuss. You don't have to like necessarily get in contact with us about, hey, like, where's my order. It will ship directly to your door, and you will get updates based off of where it is in the shipment process. And if there's a couple days where it doesn't look like anything's happening, because when I tested it out for myself, it gives you an update once the item has actually shipped. So if there's like a few days in there that you don't see any update, that's not really anything to worry about. All that means is that it's currently the item is currently being made, because unfortunately, just due to our operation right now, we don't really have like a big warehouse where we can store all of these things. They're made on demand. So whenever you order whatever, each item is specifically made directly to how you wanted it in your order. So that way, give it just a couple days for the item to be made, and then once it is made, it will ship out, and that's where you'll get that update and stuff like that. But at the same time, if anybody does have any questions throughout the entire process, please feel free to like reach out and contact to us. I've been really good the past few days. I've already had a couple people reach out and ask a couple questions, and I've been really good about responding to those and getting people directed in the way that they need to go. So please, if anybody does have any comments, questions, or concerns, please leave that either in our email. You can get a hold of us on our Facebook page. Any one of those ways, it's completely fine. And actually, very soon, I don't have it yet, but we're actually going to have a business phone with our own separate number that people will be able to call and contact, specifically on that cell phone. So if you guys want to text us, call us. I'll get that information out there once I get that actually set in stone. It is coming. It's being delivered, but so we'll have that soon, so people will be able to text or call that number with any, again, questions, comments, or complaints about what the process is. But I like the process. I've tested it out now myself a couple different times, and I think it runs really smoothly. It's pretty easy, so I like it. And I hope everybody else feels the exact same way. But I think the coolest thing about that is just the fact that it ships directly to your door. You ain't got to worry about like, oh, you have to see us in person to get items from Crooked Apparel. You can literally just go to our Facebook or our link anytime and order those items, and they'll ship directly to you. You don't have to come see us, but at the same time, we're always open to people coming and see us at all of our stuff.
It's about the only time I'd ever say that. Normally, I don't want people to come see me. I'm like, no, but if it's there, yeah, come see us.
Well, like, like for instance, like, because I know a lot of times whenever you'll see especially like people in this field, like selling shirts or hats or stuff like that, it's typically like, oh, if you see them at one of their events or one of their paracons, that's when those items are for sale.
Right.
And ours is a little bit different. Like, for instance, just so people are given a heads up, again, I hope in the future we're at a point where we can do this, but right now we're not really in a place financially with, all the expenses of running a paranormal investigation group. We don't have any of like we don't have necessarily a warehouse with like a bunch of our shirts, hats, and hoodies all just sitting there waiting for people to order them. They're made on demand. So whenever we go to the Paracons this year, we're not really going to have a bunch of our hats and t-shirts, stuff like that, there specifically to sell, but we will have like our QR code there. So if there are items that you want to order while you're there, you most certainly can while you're there at the Paracon, and then it'll ship directly to your door. Like, and that's what I kind of like about it. You don't have to worry about, oh, well, because for instance, at the Parapsychon that we'll be at this year, which is the 16th and 17th of May, Saturday and Sunday, it's the same weekend as the Penhurst Paracon. So if there's anybody out there that's like, oh man, I'm going to Penhurst, I won't be able to go and see you guys at Parapsychon, but I really was looking forward to like going and getting like a piece of whatever. It's like, you ain't got to worry about if you was there or not. You can order it online and it'll ship directly to your door. And I kind of like that option, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
At least I do, but but again, like that's just my opinion, and everybody's entitled to however they feel about it. If anybody has comments or complaints about that way, it's like, I'm not gonna be mad. I get it. Like sometimes I'm kind of like, oh, like I wish I could go and just order it right there. It's just unfortunately right now we're not at a point to be able to financially do that. So that's where I'm hoping in the future we can, but we'll kind of play that by ear. But are there any other things that you can currently think of that people might want to know about with the merch store?
I don't think so. I think that's it. I think if we throw too much more, it'll make it confusing for people. And
Yeah,
what we
like I
put
don't.
out there is exactly
Yeah,
what people need to know.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's a pretty simple system because yeah, as long as you see the link and you can click on the link, it's really you just follow the link and it's pretty self-explanatory from that point on. Like it's not complicated at all. Like I may have even made it sound complicated, I don't know, but it's not. It's pretty straightforward. It's pretty easy. Um but yeah, like there's a lot of stuff that's going on with it, and again, I also do want to just throw out there really quick because we've already had a decent amount of orders, and like I couldn't be more thrilled with the launch of our store because we've already got like how many like we've already got a good amount of orders based
I'm
off of
very
that. And
excited, very happy with the start.
yes, and I can't put this out there enough is that I am so thankful and appreciative of everybody that is following our page, watching this right now, watching our stuff, and to everybody that's supporting us on the new merch store. And it is definitely going to be one of the biggest ways that I think people can really support us here at Crooked Path because again, anybody that's out there that is running an investigation team or does any of this, it's hard. It's hard to do because things are expensive. So it's one of the easiest ways that everybody can really support us so that way we can continue to do this at the capacity that we really want to. But again, like I just couldn't be more appreciative of it because for me it's also not even about like it's not really about the money because I've said this before. It's like I don't need to be a rich person. I don't even know if I want to be a rich person because I think sometimes when people have too much money, it turns them into somebody that I I would never want to be. What are you looking at?
I'm sitting here minding my own business, and it's like somebody tried to pull tissue out of the box.
That's weird. It's almost like the ghost of somebody you did a reading for that's crying.
Right? This has been a very common thing in this room recently. It started with my cords over there, like I'd watch them get lifted and dropped. And now, if I leave my keys on the table, my keys will get lifted and dropped. And now it's the tissue.
That's interesting. That's interesting. Um, but yeah, just again, I just want to put out there, like, thank you to everybody that supports us here at Crooked Path. Like, I couldn't be more appreciative of everything that everybody does for us, because this right here is the life. I love doing this. I think the thing I'm most excited for is to see other people with their Crooked Path merch, because I don't know, like, when I see somebody come talk to us, or I see somebody comment or like one of our posts or our YouTube, videos and stuff like that, the joy that I get from that, like, I can't even explain. I just love it. It's just like one big family. I just love it whenever people do that. So I feel like, obviously, people that are supporting us in that way, whenever I see the big crooked path on their chest, it's just going to be awesome. I'm like if it makes it feel like what we're doing really matters. And I just love
Yeah.
that. But yeah, I won't talk anymore about that. Again, if there are any questions, comments, or concerns with the merch store, please reach out to us. I will definitely get back to you literally as soon as I can. So please leave us any questions with that. With that being said, I've done a lot of talking at this point, talking about the merch store. So I'll hand it over to you so you can do a little bit of talking about the next thing. And I think what we should do now is maybe give our big announcement of what's happening next week.
Well, we're not going to make any promises. We don't know how it's going to go. This is going to be the first time we're trying this. But next Monday, we've got the Fairfield County Infirmary booked for ourselves. That's where I am right now. I'm in my office at the infirmary, hence why things are just randomly getting pulled and moved all on their own. But after we do our paranormal playbook show live at 9 o'clock, you can join us for that live on the Forever Entertainment YouTube channel or Facebook page. You can watch that show with us. Then at midnight, you can come back and join us for a live investigation here at the infirmary. I make no promises of how it's going to go, of any technical difficulties we may have, of how the spirits may or may not behave, of whether or not we're going to encounter bats. There are so many variables that could make this a complete train wreck, but I'm really excited about it. And I want this to be the start of something we do a lot more of.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. I guess that's also why we haven't done a live investigation before, and it's because I feel like there's so many variables that if it's a train wreck, there's no you know what I mean? It's kind of like, well, there's nothing you can do about it if there's a train wreck. But at least if it's a recorded thing, that's where you can sort of play with it a little bit and kind of get things on track. But we recently had somebody, and you know who you are, that had this original idea that brought this to my attention. Um, well, that kind of got me on this path of wanting to do it. And I kind of thought about it afterwards. I was like, you know what? It's been almost a year since we started. We haven't done one yet. Let's do it. Let's try it. And I figured, what better place to do it than just FCI? And we had it booked for next Monday, so we were just kind of like, oh yeah, let's try it there. So we still got to get like just the last little things, because again, we've never went online before, so we'll have it up where it's scheduled to go, and then like we said, at midnight, technically Tuesday morning, but like Monday night into Tuesday morning at 12 a.m. is when we'll be going live. And I'm hoping that we get some people to join us for that, because I think that's when the lives really shine, whenever we could get some people to comment and kind of join the investigation with us literally live. But if not, don't worry about it. It will be on YouTube to stay. So if you miss it, you can always go back and watch what happened to us at a later point. But oh my God, I'm excited about that.
I'm now taking a tissue out of the box and I'm setting it on the table because someone keeps pulling at it. There you go.
Need a tissue, man. It's stuck. It's stuck.
You just never know what's going to happen in this room.
You just never know. Um,
One day the table legs got folded in the middle of someone's reading, like one of the legs just folded right in.
I remember you telling me about that.
I
That was
happened to see it
crazy.
go, and I caught the table just before it hit the floor.
That was crazy. I know. I forget. Did we solidify the possible event at FCI for Labor Day weekend yet?
Memorial Day weekend, not yet, but
Memorial Day, yeah,
we should have
yeah.
that solidified by the end of this week.
Okay. So I guess not to like put too much out there for it, but again, as we're not 1,000% sure, but we're pretty close to having it solidified that Monday of Memorial Day weekend, which I'm pretty sure that is Memorial Day itself,
Right.
we're possibly going to be doing a public event at FCI. So put that in the back of your head because, and again, we'll if once we get it solidified, we'll blast it on everything that we're doing this. But if there's anybody that wants to join us at the end of Memorial Day for a public hunt investigation at FCI, we possibly are going to be doing that. So just kind of keep that in the back of your head, and we'll let everybody know as soon as we do have that solidified. But I think we should.
I think so.
Yeah, I don't think we have any. I don't think we should have any issues with solidifying that. So, yeah, so that'll be another thing to look forward to. We got so much stuff going on this year. It's like hard to keep track, but I love it. You
I
know what I
know.
mean? It's like I'm a chicken running with my head off, but at the same time, it's like I love it. I love every minute of it. I can't wait for the public hunts. Like it's something we obviously haven't been able to do one in a minute, and I'm so excited to get back to it. It's gonna be so much fun.
I know, me too.
Um,
Especially
so I
here.
guess so I guess with that we kind of got through the merch store and the big announcement we needed to make. I want to hear about in more depth. I want to hear about Whispers Estate.
I'm actually going to go back to the beginning of this story. I'm going to try to make a very long story short and condensed, but I am going to go back to the beginning because I think people listening to this will need some context.
Right.
So the first time I went to Whispers Estate, I was asked to accompany a family who'd been there previously and had a horrible experience. Essentially, during their investigation, they had to call 911 because one of the family members was having this reaction. They didn't know what was going on. They thought it was a medical incident. When EMS arrived, they would not enter the house. They had to get this person outside on their own because EMS was afraid to go inside of Whispers Estate. When they got him outside, EMS determined there was nothing wrong medically. He was having a panic attack. So they got in the car and they left. They left their things there. They just left. And on the way home, the person who was having the episode started talking about this thing that he saw come up from the floor in the corner of the parlor, this large black mass. And he kept saying things like, he's so mean. He does horrible things to people. So they decided they wanted to go back and they wanted to face this house and face this thing, and they wanted me to go with. And of course, I agreed. Beforehand, I did a little hypnosis work with the person who had the incident, wanting to break any ties that anything in that house might have to him, and also to give him a subconscious suggestion that if anything were to go wrong, all I'd have to do is say one or two words and he would just follow me out of the house. So when we set our date and headed that way, they managed to get me in a night early just to do a walkthrough of the house before our investigation. And this woman met me at the door, and from the moment she opened the door, the way she looked at me, I could tell this woman did not like me, and she had no reason to feel that way. I wasn't that excited about her, to be real honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
But she asked me, as we're walking, would you like me to tell you anything about the house? And I said, no, how about I tell you about the house? And as we walked through the house, that's exactly what we did. We were in the parlor, And I talked about a fire and a little girl. We were on the steps, and I talked about someone falling down the steps. We were in the bathtub, or excuse me, we were in the bathroom. We were not in the bathtub. And I talked about someone having fallen and died in connection to the bathtub.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Give me a second to compose myself on that
One of
one.
the other things that really stood out to me was the basement. I felt like I was seeing a different entrance to the basement, and I was seeing people in the basement, people in long black robes from head to toe, and they were doing something in a ritualistic fashion. Afterward, everything was confirmed for me. The little girl in the fire, they confirmed the death in the bathroom, they confirmed someone falling down the stairs and dying. The only thing they didn't confirm was what I saw in the basement. So the next night we go for our investigation. I walked into the parlor and I looked at the spot where this person had been sitting when they had their episode previously. And I said, I don't want anybody sitting in that spot. End of story. And everyone agreed. So I'm walking the house, I'm getting some impressions, and I'm starting to feel like the house itself had its sights set on me, like it was watching me, like it wanted me. Like, why would it want me? What would it want me to do? And then the answer came into my head: feed it. Feed it what? And then I start thinking of this woman who met me at the door. I'm like, oh, okay. It's currently using her to feed it energetically. I don't know what that means. What does it feed off of? What happens to the person who's feeding it when it's done with them? All these thoughts. Then the person who booked the house got a message from the owner saying that he and this woman from the night before would be stopping by. They wanted to meet them after their experience there earlier. So they arrive at the house. We're standing outside talking. The owner mentions being a psychology professor and bringing some of his students to the house. And I thought, okay, well, that's something that could feed what's here. Then I'm paying attention to the woman who'd answered the door the night before. She's standing next to me, and every time she hears a noise, she looks at me nervously. It's like she's afraid of me. So as this conversation winds down, they'd announced that they were not going to be leaving until we went inside and conducted an Estes session. That's exactly what was happening a year and a half earlier when they had their incident. And to me, this felt like they wanted to recreate it. They wanted to see it happen. And I'm thinking, this is sick. It's absolutely sick. And it will undoubtedly feed what's in this house. Well, in order to get rid of him, they agreed to it. So we went inside, and the owner looked at me and said, "Come sit upstairs with me." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "The church pew in the servants' quarters. When you sit there, things happen. I want to know what you feel." All right, I can get behind that. In my brain, I'm thinking, he wants me to have an experience that scares me. He wants to produce fear. What's in this house lives off of fear. Mm-hmm. Good luck getting that from me. So on our way, we stop in a bedroom, and he says to me, "Sit in the chair and tell me what you feel." The moment I sat down, I said, "I can't breathe. I feel like my lungs are full of fluid." And that's when he told me that bedroom belonged to the second owner, and his wife died of pneumonia in that bedroom. So we head to the servants' quarters. I'm sitting on the church pew. There's a big curtained off area behind me where they tell you not to go because the floors are bad.
Mm-hmm.
We're sitting there on the church pew talking. This woman who'd let me in the night before is sitting to my right in a chair. And I watch this figure come to the door, this massive black shape. And I'm thinking, this is what he saw a year and a half ago. I watched it walk in. It went past the owner. It went past me. It went right to this woman. She jumped up out of her chair and she screamed at me. And she said, "Did you just get up and come over by me?" Like, no, I didn't. But let me tell you what just happened. But I start describing it to her and I'm laughing. She's freaking out. So we go downstairs and they're going to start this session. And I said to the person who had the bad experience, "You're going to go sit in the other room with me. You don't need to be in that room." And I'm taking an inventory. I'm looking for everybody. I'm like, where's this woman? Where'd she go? She's sitting on the couch in the spot that I'd said nobody should be. So they've got the session going. We're sitting in the doctor's office. The person who had the bad experience then said to me, "I'm getting a headache." And those are the exact words he said before he had an incident last time. I said the words that I put in his subconscious. He looked at me. I stood up. We walked out together. We stayed outside until the session was over and the owner and this woman left. Then we went back in to face the rest of the night. In the end, I got them through the night safely. They faced the house. They faced what happened to them. It was all in all a good night. Some of the things that had been confirmed for me. So the house was built in the late 1800s by George and Sarah White. They lived there for only a few years, and then John and Jessie Gibbons moved in, also doctors. The Gibbons were known for adopting children, some of which died in the house, one of which most notably was a young girl named Rachel who died in a fire in the parlor. When I heard that story, they said something about it was suspected that there was something off about her death, that John may have had a hand in that one way or the other. So that was something I was just going to hang on to. But as I'm processing all these things, I looked at them and I said, I need to know what's behind those fucking curtains upstairs, the area we're not supposed to go. I have to know. So I turned and I ran up the stairs. People followed me. I pulled the curtains back and there was an altar back there, an altar with a candle and cauldron and gargoyle statues, and most notably, long black robes hanging there. Black robes, just like I'd seen in my vision in the basement. That led us to the basement. We did a board session. And as I'm doing this board session, people are taking pictures behind me into the crawl space. After connecting on the board, I asked, "Do you have a message for us?" And I was instantly pushed from behind, like violently. I moved, the chair moved, the table, the board moved. I got up, and then they started showing me pictures of what they were taking behind me. They were seeing faces in the crawl space. And the most notable face, I think, identically matches the face in a painting that's on the stairwell there. This nightmarish painting that was supposedly done by a former owner who saw this thing in a dream, painted the picture, and then sold the house. So that was the end of our night. And the people I was with had said, they don't think they'd ever come back to that house. And I left thinking, I think this is just the beginning for me. There's a lot here that needs to be worked through.
Right.
So my next time back, I went with a very good friend of mine, and we connected into very little about the house. Much of what happened was personal, past life related, and relates to what just happened at the Bel Air house. Much of what happened that night directly involved Ord. So I'm not going to get into those details because there's going to be so much more about that people actually get to see soon,
Right.
and that doesn't connect to the house. My next time at the house was with you,
Mm-hmm.
and that was supposed to be one of our first episodes,
Yeah.
of which, of course, we lost that footage. It is what it is.
Unfortunately, I think that was that one or two? Was that our first one to like officially under Crooked
I think
Path?
that
Or
was going to be the first one, and then we were headed to Egypt Valley after that.
okay, that's what it was. That must be what it was. Because yeah, I couldn't remember if Egypt Valley was first or Whispers was first. I just knew that those are the very first two that we actually did under Crooked Path. And unfortunately, because I was brand new to editing and dealing with all the computer stuff, I unfortunately did something I wasn't supposed to do. Didn't have any knowledge of it, and then lost that footage. So that was a big learning curve for me. And thankfully, I am much more experienced now and should never have that issue ever again. But unfortunately, yeah, we lost that footage, and it was a good night too. That's why I was like so mad about it.
It was a good night. The biggest takeaway for me from that night about what actually connects to that house was when we worked through what was attached to Jessie. The children were afraid of Jessie because there was something attached to her. And this didn't surprise me because both Rachel and Gary, the boy who pops the closet door open, have shown up elsewhere. They've shown up in my office at FCI. They showed up at the Ross house that night when the door kept opening, our first investigation there. They were trying to come through to me. They weren't safe there because of what was attached to Jessie. So you dealt with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in the other room talking just my thoughts out loud as you were working through that. And I remember saying, now that what was attached to her has been separated, who is it going to go after next? And what is it going to use to go after someone next? And as soon as I expressed that thought, Necrometer said the word Chris, spelled with a K. And I said, no, we're not doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And Necrometer said, last month. And I said, no, fuck you. And then Necrometer said the 6th. All three of those things relate to what would have been a very painful, horrific experience for me, not at all relating to the paranormal, but just personal. Mm-hmm. And no sooner do I ask, who are they going to go after next? And what are they going to use to try to get in?
Right.
Well, it didn't work. It is what it is. Fast forward, the people I went to Whispers with went back without me. I didn't go because it was MadCon weekend.
Right.
A week later, they come back and they see the thing in the monkey room for the first time. For those of you who don't know what I mean by the monkey room, I'm not going to tell this whole story. Go back and watch OSR, Madison Seminary, and FCI. Mm-hmm. Watch those 3 series. You'll know what I'm talking about.
Honestly, yeah, like I think those 3 series, like whenever you watch them in order, exactly how you said, OSR, Madison, and then Fairfield, you'll know exactly what we're talking about on that. So, yeah.
So after we had those experiences at those 3 places, I had a psychic public hunt, did a seance in the monkey room. That was the first time the name Abyssus came through. Mm-hmm. A lot of people might not know the significance of that right now, and you'll just have to stay tuned because it's coming. Fast forward to MadCon this past year. A group of us from FCI are in the downstairs room with the hole in the floor that leads you up to the asylum side.
Mm-hmm.
And two of us looked up at the same time, and one person with an SLS camera said, "There's a midget on the ceiling." And I said, "Is it a midget or a monkey?" And everyone froze. And it wasn't 2 minutes later that two of us saw it directly, the monkey figure, like hanging from the ceiling at Madison Seminary. So we asked which one of us you followed, and it gave the same answer 3 times. It said Zeke. Not me, Zeke. So that led us to the Madison Seminary Civil War side, where we went into the seance room. I did a board session, and this is probably the first time I've ever just collapsed while on the board. It was like I was doing an Estes session. I'm slumped over in the chair, my eyes are closed, and the planchette's moving and spelling out perfectly coherent things. We asked, "Why did you follow Zeke?" And it spelled out Sarah White, the original owner of Whispers.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want? Revenge. Since then, we've been sitting in the monkey room. We watched a figure move from the monkey room to the morgue. Somebody shown their seer app that direction and said, "Show yourself to me." He got a very clear image of a man. I brought up a picture on my phone and I said, "Would you agree that what you just got on your seer app looks like this man?" He said, "Yes, 100%. It looked just like the owner of Whispers." So I go back there in December. I'm sitting in the basement, the same place I got pushed, and somebody says, "Don't move, I want to take a picture." I let them take their picture. I looked, and there was very clearly the figure of a woman standing next to me. And she said she was Sarah White. Since then, I have not gotten much more clarification other than I've now found an entire listing of Sarah White's relatives who had involvement in the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them stayed in Indiana, except for a small handful who made it to Tennessee for the Battle of Shiloh.
Mm-hmm.
I think Zeke was responsible for the loss of some of her relatives in the Civil War. Another thing Seer gave us when pointing at the thing that walked out of the monkey room into the morgue, it gave us a picture of tunnels and water and this figure over the water.
Mm-hmm.
Someone brought up that just a few miles down the street from Whispers, there's an underground cavern that you can go on a tour. The person who had the horrible experience had been on that cavern tour right before going to Whispers.
Oh, okay.
So I go back there this past Saturday night. We were able to let ourselves in. A different caretaker was going to be coming later on in the night and letting herself into the back of the house. All I could think about was when I was there in December, how we got a tour from the owner's son, and he told us about the painting on the stairs and said, "Yeah, our longtime caregiver, Sandra, her sister painted this after seeing that thing in the house and then said she'd never come back." What? That's very different from the story about a former owner having painted it. So when this poor woman came to let herself in the back of the house Saturday night, I happened to be standing outside and I swooped down like this creature from the sky. I'm like, "Hey, I've got questions." Get out of her. Her explanation, I was satisfied. She's been there longer than the current owner. They sometimes mix up the history. I felt okay with that.
Okay.
I guess the son doesn't give tours very often. All right, good.
That yeah.
We went inside. Something that came up at FCI a week before, the person who had the horrible experience, his name came up in a session and they said he will burn. They also said their goal was to torment Christopher. At Whispers, through Necrometer came torment Christopher.
That's wild.
This led into someone going under. They directed me to the stairs. I stood there on the stairs and practically had a yelling match with whatever energies in that house. Like I'm yelling up the stairs at it, and the person 2 rooms over who's under is answering directly to this fight that I'm having with whatever it was on the stairs. End of the night, I went under, and it didn't quite go the way I wanted it to. I feel like we got some really good information based on what was written down, but I don't feel that they asked the right questions. When that session was over, did I freeze up here?
Yeah, you kind of froze up, I think. But
Is
I
that
could
better?
still hear you. Yeah.
All right. When that session was over, it was just about the end of the night. I decided I'm going to go sit in the Oculus room. Why not? I sat there for about 3 minutes and I saw this black figure come up behind me. And all night we'd been getting references about a door that was blocked and it wanted it to be opened and it wanted me to open it. And I sat there in the Oculus room and I told it, I know what you want. I'm not going to do it for you and I'm not afraid of you. Then I just got up and walked away. And the 3 of us went to walk down the stairs. 1 story lower, 2 of us saw this big black thing. And we watched it lunge for the person who'd had the bad experience to start with. It ripped his shirt up and just clawed down his back. We watched it happen. Then it ran down the stairs. The next day, I went to go look for Sarah White's grave. The whole time I was at the cemetery looking for an hour, I felt like somebody didn't want me to find it, but I feel like it's terribly important I find it. And then I went to the caverns, which might have been a bad idea.
Huh.
I wasn't able to get in, unfortunately. I was all ready for that adventure. So that's still on my list.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, there's a lot of unfinished business.
Yeah. It sounds like it. And I mean, as you already know, we've already had the conversation of definitely getting back there to possibly resolve what that what that is.
Oh, we're going to have to plan this out. We're going to the cemetery. We're going to the cavern. We're all in. We're getting the whole experience.
Right. Right. That shouldn't be too difficult.
I wouldn't think so. Whatever's there has made this personal on multiple levels.
Right.
Past life and present life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to see this through. And you definitely need to be there to ask the right questions when I go under.
I feel like it's just going to be round 2 of what you just experienced in the sense of just in the different way is that you'll be under and I'll be the one with the screaming match.
Right.
I guess you already. I mean, as you already know, that's kind of like my current specialty.
Everybody needs to embrace their gifts.
I'm good at antagonizing.
You are. You have a great opportunity to do it there.
I almost feel like it needs it though, because if it feeds off of fear, then I think that's almost what you have to use against it is make it scared.
Right.
So I feel like that is the energy. Like, because again, like sometimes we look at like somebody that would antagonize a spirit as like being a negative thing, and it's like, well, no, because you have to understand the context. Because it's like there are times where obviously you need to have love and joy, and that's what you use towards a spirit. And then obviously I think there's the opposite effect where there's the negative entities that feed off of people's fear, and in order to rise above their power and make things right, I think you have to use that type of energy,
Right.
which
Absolutely.
I guess for me is just, um, I think, I don't know, it just comes naturally. I think, I don't know, but
Yeah, I feel like this is just beginning with that place.
yeah, I mean, actually, even just we knew that eventually you and I was going to have to go back anyway, because even from the time that we went, that ended up not being put out as an episode because I lost the footage again. Sorry for that. But we knew we was going to have to go back anyway because the things that we did there weren't even really finished.
Right.
We got it to a point where we were kind of like, okay, there's not really anything else we can do at the moment. But we knew we was going to have to go on and or go back. And honestly, this just sounds like just a continuation of that. And
Right.
I think there's things about it. I mean, obviously that we're not even we're not even knowing at the current point in time. And like the thing that it the thing that attacked you guys this weekend, I have a strong feeling that even with that, it's not the main issue.
Oh, for
And
sure.
I think the main issue is tied to what you saw originally and then showed me behind that curtain when I went with you.
Absolutely.
That whole altar and everything there, like I know when I saw it, even back when I wasn't as in tune with my feeling stuff, I could feel it then. Like
Yeah,
it's pretty pretty messed up.
it is.
And so well
There's
and
a
and
couple
we
other things that I probably forgot to put out there, but that's okay. I'm going to hang on to those for now.
it'll be a conversation that I mean we'll talk about it. This will be kind of like Belair in the sense that we talk about it a lot,
Right.
just with how intertwined everything was with Blair, which I guess what's interesting about this is the fact that not necess- it's not necessarily like whenever we was at the Blair Whispers was being brought up necessarily, but we've noticed a lot of weird like similarities or synchronicities with that place.
Right.
It's weird. And so
It
we're
is weird.
I don't think we're currently like I don't know that we're ready to say like there was 1,000% a tie to Belair,
Right.
but I'm heading in that direction.
Right.
And the way that I think I would have looked at it before the Belair House weekend, I would have said, "Oh, it's because of the demon from Belair." I think again, not to put too much out there because it will be on an episode eventually. The entity that we first made contact with at Belair that kind of took us by surprise because we never saw that one coming.
Right.
And it was just such a random name to throw out there. I'm starting to wonder if he's got any ties to that.
I agree. I was almost expecting that name to come up this weekend.
Could be hiding right now.
That leads me to another thought that I'll hang on to.
I would like to get out to Whispers possibly sooner rather than later. Because,
Oh yeah, while it's still pissed off, for sure.
right, right. Hmm.
Yeah, we'll
Well,
get that figured out.
Yeah, we'll have to look at the dates, see what's open right now.
Yeah.
Because now, yeah, now I'm invested, or not that I wasn't before, but now after hearing that, I'm almost pissed off by that. So like,
Right.
let's let's get her done.
For sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I
Um,
think that's just about it for tonight.
yeah, yeah. So I guess just to kind of recap really fast and review everything. Again, uh, so excited about the merch store being online officially. Go to our Facebook page, all of our YouTube uh, videos. We'll have the link in the description, stuff like that. If there's any questions, comments, or concerns, please reach out to us. Remember, next Monday night going into Tuesday morning at midnight, we're going to be going live on YouTube, and I think if we figure it out correctly, you'll also be able to access it on Facebook. We'll have to like double check that, but I
Yeah.
think we should be able to get it to where you can either go to Facebook and watch it live, or to our YouTube channel, watch it live, whatever you guys prefer. So be looking out for that, all the details on that, and yeah, just kind of keep an eye out for things on our Facebook page and stuff like that. Facebook is really right now the best place to kind of keep up to date with literally everything that we're doing, because we've got a lot of announcements, a lot of drops that we're going to be making here in the near future. So just as always, stay tuned, and I can't wait for you guys to see it.
There's a lot to look forward to.
Yeah. But yeah, as always, thank you guys for watching. We've really appreciated having this talk, and we'll see you guys next week.
See you next time.
All right, bye guys.